But there are certain spots that wrestlers do during a match that make no logical sense. For instance, when a wrestler patiently waits to catch their opponent during a dive to the outside. Why do they do this? Well, despite criticisms often being directed towards a spot of this nature, there are certain spots and iconic moments where wrestlers have applied common sense to obtain an advantage. These wrestlers outsmarted their opponents and used the established rules of the match they were in to show their intelligence. But which times were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 WWE wrestlers who were cleverly one step ahead. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Number 10, Mick Foley wraps himself in barbed wire. Heading into WrestleMania 22, there was a ton of excitement for the showdown between Mick Foley and Edge. The match was set to be a hardcore match, and fans hoped that the match would propel Edge to the next level. Whilst Edge had been WWE champion before, he was not an established main event star, but this match changed everything. The match was acclaimed by fans and it featured several ingenious spots. The first of these took place just minutes into the match as Edge would hit a trademark spear, but this was a ruse. Edge was screaming in pain, and it would transpire that Foley had wrapped up his stomach in barbed wire, and this was why Edge was in so much pain. This was such a clever spot. Foley knew that Edge would deliver a spear at some point, so Foley came prepared in the most tactical way possible. Number 9, Brock Lesnar uses Iron Man rules for an advantage. The chemistry between Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle in 2003 was undeniable. The matches were world class, and the Iron Man match, which took place on SmackDown, is their underrated gem that never seems to get the love and appreciation it deserves. During the match, Lesnar would begin to attack Angle with a chair just 10 minutes into the match. This caused a DQ, so Lesnar was already down a fall. However, this damaged Angle severely for the rest of the match. This was incredibly smart and was a perfect thing for a heel such as Lesnar to do in a match type as grueling as an Iron Man. This was a truly golden time in WWE where storytelling and compelling character-driven moments were given precedent. Number 8, RK Nope. Upon Edge's sudden retirement after WrestleMania 27, WWE would shift focus onto Christian, and Christian would capture his first world title in WWE at Extreme Rules in 2011. Unfortunately for Captain Charisma, WWE had no plans to build a brand around Christian, and he subsequently dropped the world title on the next edition of SmackDown to Randy Orton. A feud between the two would follow, which was truly outstanding. The matches were tremendous, and Orton has even gone on record to say that working with Christian was the highlight of his entire career. The two had a number of pay-per-view matches that seemingly got better and better before the feud came to a close in a steel cage match on SmackDown. One of the reasons the feud worked so well was that the matches featured continuity in relation to the in-ring action. For instance, during the cage match, Christian was getting set to perform a springboard move and Orton was getting ready to execute an RKO. This was a callback to their first encounter when Orton won the world title. It was a fantastic moment as Christian managed to hold on to the turnbuckle and completely trick Orton. The spot may sound simple, but it showed fans that Christian and Orton were actually trying to apply logic and consistency into their in-ring action, which is always something that should be celebrated. Number 7, The New Day tried to pin each other. In September 2022, a fatal 4-way tag match would air on Raw. The rules of the match stated that only 2 wrestlers could be legal at the same time, but there were no rules indicating that 2 legal wrestlers couldn't be from the same team. Therefore, when Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods were both legal men at the same time, they did the most sensible thing ever and tried to pin each other. This was an act of genius and made everyone question why nobody had done this before. Number 6, Samoa Joe's iconic walkaway. During his career, Samoa Joe had made several spots and moves synonymous with his in-ring style. One of these is his signature walkaway spot where Joe proceeds to simply walk away from someone performing a top rope move instead of waiting to catch them. This spot always receives a huge pop from the audience and it suits Joe's character perfectly. One of the most famous times Joe did this was at the 2019 Royal Rumble as Johnny Gargano was getting set to perform an aerial move on Joe before Joe casually hilariously moved out the way. Number 5, Brock Lesnar leaps over Goldberg. Heading into the Universal title showdown between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg at WrestleMania 33, there was a defined lack of excitement. WWE fans believed that the Universal title match should have been between Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens as they had the most riveting story, but former WWE chairman Vince McMahon was insistent on Lesnar and Goldberg getting the honor. Now, the match between Lesnar and Goldberg was actually well received by fans. The two worked within their limitations, and the match featured some exciting spots which left fans feeling satisfied. One of the most well-known spots in the match took place when Goldberg was about to go for a trademark spear. At the very last second, Lesnar leaped over Goldberg with a leapfrog, and an audible gasp was heard in the stadium. It was a well-deserved spot that could have looked terrible if timed incorrectly. The spot showed off Lesnar's insane athleticism, but it also showed why Lesnar is one of the smartest wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots. Number 4. Duct tape. When the finish of the last man standing match between John Cena and Batista first took place, fans were quick to label it as a terrible match finish. However, over a decade after the match has taken place, it's time to reevaluate the finish and realize it's a smart finish that should be applauded. The final moments of the last man standing match at Extreme Rules 2010 saw Cena use duct tape to tape Batista's feet to the ring post. Batista was unable to move in any capacity, and this resulted in Cena winning the match. Whilst the match finish felt flat at the time, as it kinda came out of nowhere, it was truly a clever way to secure a win in a last man standing contest. Number 3. Loose boot. The legendary Eddie Guerrero made it a career out of lying, cheating and stealing, and his match at WrestleMania 20 was no exception. Guerrero would go one-on-one with Kurt Angle in a match for the WWE title, and the match finish once again featured Guerrero being one step ahead of his opponent. During the final stages of the match, Guerrero would begin to loosen up his boot, and this was logically explained by the announce team that Guerrero was just trying to relieve some of the pressure from Angle's ankle lock. However, when Angle once again went for the ankle lock, Guerrero's boot came off completely. This left him bewildered, and Guerrero was able to perform a small package to win the match. Number 2. Always come prepared. Now, the final years of WCW didn't exactly have many moments worth appreciating. However, one particular segment that took place in 1999 is viewed upon positively. On the March 29, 1999 edition of WCW Nitro, Bret Hart would come down to the ring and he would call out Goldberg. When Goldberg came into the ring, he performed his signature spear on Hart to the disdain of the live Canadian audience. However, what was peculiar about this spear was that upon landing, it looked like Goldberg was knocked out. Hart then revealed that he was wearing a steel plate around his waist and had successfully managed to knock Goldberg out clean. When the segment first aired, nobody saw a swerve of this nature coming, and it managed to portray Hart as a cerebral individual who was always going to have a plan. And number 1, no more mockery. When WWE made the decision to once again book John Cena vs. The Rock at WrestleMania 29, fans were less than enthusiastic. WWE had spent a solid 12 months promoting Cena vs. The Rock at WrestleMania 28 as a once-in-a-lifetime encounter, so it seemed ridiculous that WWE were once again doing the match. The WrestleMania 29 match is widely regarded as being substantially inferior to their WrestleMania 28 showdown, as there was just a lack of fan interest both from those in attendance and from those watching at home. To Cena and The Rock's credit, they did try to make the match feel fresh, and this was highlighted by Cena offering an excellent callback to their encounter the year prior. The finish of the WrestleMania 28 match saw Cena go for the People's Elbow only for The Rock to emerge and perform a rock bottom. Cena would once again go for the move at WrestleMania 29, but this time he remembered his own errors. As Cena was going for his own version of the move, he would hold on to the ropes, therefore when The Rock popped up, Cena was ready and he didn't fall into the same trap. But there you have it folks, 10 wrestlers who were one step ahead. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.